Another Day Another Lesson by UPSC and more. The Constitution of India is the supreme law of the land that outlines the fundamental principles, structures, and procedures of governance. It is a living document that has been amended several times since its inception to keep pace with the changing times and address emerging challenges. This essay aims to discuss the process of amending the Constitution, the need for such amendments, and the various important amendments that have been made to the Constitution over the years. Process of amending the Constitution. Article 368 of the Constitution lays down the procedure for amending the Constitution. There are three ways in which the Constitution can be amended. 1. Amendment by a simple majority. The Constitution can be amended by a simple majority of the Parliament. However, this is subject to certain limitations. The amendment must not alter the basic structure of the Constitution, which includes the supremacy of the Constitution, the democratic form of government, the separation of powers, and the rule of law. 2. Amendment by a special majority. The Constitution can also be amended by a special majority of the Parliament, which requires a two-thirds majority of the members present and voting in both the Houses of Parliament. In addition to this, the amendment must be ratified by the legislatures of at least half of the states. 3. Amendment by a special majority and consent of the states. Certain provisions of the Constitution, such as those relating to the federal structure, can only be amended with the consent of the states. Such amendments require a special majority in both Houses of Parliament as well as the consent of at least two-thirds of the states. Need for constitutional amendments. The Constitution of India is a dynamic document that needs to evolve with time to address the changing needs of society. Amendments to the Constitution are necessary to 1. Ensure social justice. The Constitution was drafted with the objective of ensuring social justice and equality for all citizens. Amendments to the Constitution have been made to ensure that this objective is fulfilled. For example, the Constitution was amended in 1951 to provide for reservation of seats in the Parliament and state legislatures for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. 2. Strengthen democracy. The Constitution provides for a democratic form of government. Amendments to the Constitution have been made to strengthen democracy and ensure that it functions effectively. For example, the Constitution was amended in 1985 to lower the voting age from 21 to 18 years, thus ensuring greater participation of the youth in the democratic process. 3. Address emerging challenges. The Constitution needs to evolve with time to address emerging challenges. Amendments to the Constitution have been made to address various issues such as terrorism, corruption, and the environment. Important amendments to the Constitution. 1. First Amendment Act, 1951. The First Amendment to the Constitution was made in 1951. It added new grounds to the existing restrictions on freedom of speech and expression under Article 19. 2. The amendment was made to curb the spread of communal propaganda and hate speech. 2. Seventh Amendment Act, 1956. The Seventh Amendment to the Constitution was made in 1956. It reorganized the states on a linguistic basis and established the concept of union territories. 3. 24th Amendment Act, 1971. The 24th Amendment to the Constitution was made in 1971. It amended Article 368 to make it clear that the power to amend the Constitution includes the power to amend fundamental rights. 4. 42nd Amendment Act, 1976. The 42nd Amendment to the Constitution was made in 1976. It was made during the period of emergency and is considered controversial. It amended the Constitution to grant more powers to the executive and limit the powers of the judiciary. It also added the word socialist and secular to the preamble of the Constitution. 5. 86th Amendment Act, 2002. The 86th Amendment to the Constitution was made in 2002. It inserted Article 21A, which made education a fundamental right for all children between the ages of 6 and 14 years. 6. 92nd Amendment Act, 2003. The 92nd Amendment to the Constitution was made in 2003. It provided for the reservation of seats for other backward classes, OBCs, in central educational institutions and increased the reservation for SCs and STs in educational institutions. 7. 97th Amendment Act, 2011. The 97th Amendment to the Constitution was made in 2011. It inserted Article 19(6), which allowed the government to impose reasonable restrictions on the right to freedom of speech and expression in the interest of the sovereignty and integrity of India, the security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states, public order, decency or morality, or in relation to contempt of court, defamation or incitement to an offense. Conclusion. The Constitution of India is a dynamic document that needs to evolve with time to address the changing needs of society. Amendments to the Constitution are necessary to ensure social justice, strengthen democracy, and address emerging challenges. The process of amending the Constitution is laid down in Article 368 of the Constitution and requires either a simple or special majority of the Parliament or a special majority and the consent of the states. Some of the important amendments to the Constitution include the 1st, 7th, 24th, 42nd, 86th, 92nd, and 97th Amendment Acts. Here are some tips for preparing for the UPSC exam on the topic of constitutional amendments. 1. Understand the basics. It is essential to have a thorough understanding of the Constitution and its provisions before delving into the topic of constitutional amendments. Start by reading the Constitution of India and understanding the different provisions and articles. 2. Keep up with current events. Keep up to date with current events and any proposed amendments to the Constitution. This will help you understand the practical implications of constitutional amendments and their relevance in contemporary times. 3. Analyze past papers. Analyze past UPSC exam papers to understand the type of questions that are asked on the topic of constitutional amendments. This will help you to prepare effectively for the exam. 4. Use authentic sources. Use authentic sources such as the Constitution of India, NCERT textbooks, and government websites to gather information on constitutional amendments. Avoid relying on biased or unverified sources. 5. Focus on key amendments. Focus on studying the key amendments to the Constitution such as the 1st, 7th, 24th, 42nd, 86th, 92nd, and 97th Amendment Acts. These amendments have been tested in previous UPSC exams and are likely to be relevant in the future. 6. Understand the process of amendment. Have a thorough understanding of the process of amending the Constitution, including the various methods of amendment and the limitations on amendment. 7. Practice answer writing. Practice answer writing on the topic of constitutional amendments to improve your writing skills and to prepare for the exam. Try to write answers within the given time limit and in a structured and concise manner. 8. Seek guidance. Seek guidance from experts and mentors who have experience in preparing for the UPSC exam. They can provide valuable insights and tips on how to prepare effectively for the exam. Thanks for watching.